Good evening, and welcome to the St. Petersburg by Night podcasting network. Tonight, we present to you our Werewolf the Apocalypse Chronicle, Rage Across Tampa.
Welcome to another St. Pete by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the heart of night, we rise from shadows, howling at the moon, igniting our battles, cleansing Gaia of an endless fight, until our final days we will fight. Thanks, man, we stand united as one. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Everywhere we run, the wind is at our back. All the warring forces we will track. From the depths of the ocean to the clouds in the sky, vampires tremble as we learn to fight. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hands. Together we rise, take our final stand. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Everywhere with the pack, let the night be our guide. In battles of honor, we shall never hide. Rock will never hide.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Pete by Night Entertainment Network. St. Petersburg by Night is an online World of Darkness role-playing community based in St. Petersburg, Florida, and now expanding out to the world at large. My name is Kent, also known as Kent on all social media, and I will be your storyteller tonight. It's Tuesday night, and you know what that means. It's time for Rage Across Tampa, our 5th edition Werewolf the Apocalypse Chronicle set in Tampa Bay, Florida. But before we get to all that, I want to encourage you all to go follow us on all of that social media you see listed down below and in the description. But let's get to the reason we're all here, Rage Across Tampa, by introducing the amazing players that make this story possible. Players, introduce yourselves.
Hi, everybody. I'm Champ, Champagne, Clever Girl, whatever you want to call me, and I will be playing Aspen Weiss, Philodox of the Silverbangs.
Hi, everybody. I'm Noree, and I'll be playing Malicious Jester, the Galliard of the Black Furies.
Hello, everyone. My name is Preston. I play Jason Dreams-In-Decay, Thorne, Theurge of the Bone Gnar.
Well, players, let's get everyone caught up on what happened last week. First, Jace went to have a conversation with Aspen where he apologized for having stormed out of their previous gathering at the news of his previous pack possibly being completely annihilated at the mines up in Michigan. Then we saw Jester and Eliza have a heart-to-heart conversation, as well as potentially talking about touching some trees, making contact with some spirits, and much more, of course. And then finally, Aspen checked in with Stakes after her return from Michigan, in which she was terribly, terribly wounded and was recovering, but she gave as much of a detailed report as possible as to what had happened in Michigan and what caused the mission to go so wrong. Finally, Jace, Jester, and Charles went to investigate the hive that was supposedly destroyed by the changelings, where they met with Ravi and found out that maybe the changelings hadn't done as thorough of a job as they had hoped, and that the infected creatures are starting to evolve to the point that they can move underground and take the dirt from the earth itself to rebuild their forms, even if a small piece of them is left from the fight. But let's get our story started tonight with a very, very unusual starting location, Gatorland. So, Jester, you have been tasked with scouting out Gatorland and possibly finding a way to liberate the Gators in Gatorland on behalf of She Who Shines, the Mokale neighbor of yours and potential ally. As you arrive, you had made some preparations for you and Charles to help you blend in to the location of Gatorland. So why don't you go ahead and describe yourself before we start our scene?
Well, Jester is wearing a tank top, crop top, with an old band name on it, and a pair of cutoff shorts, some tennis shoes, sunglasses. Her hair's up. Carrying around like a little fanny pack type thing.
And since Charles has a tendency to only stick to, manicured suits, why don't you go ahead and describe how he's attired today due to your influence?
Charles is wearing a sleeveless flannel shirt, blue and white patterned, with a pair of jean shorts cut off at the knees and an old pair of hiking boots, as he has as well as a baseball cap that has Bass Pro on it.
So as you arrive at the location, it is a amusement park of sorts, as well as a zoo. It's got a large concrete entrance building, and in front of the doors to that building is a large green and aqua blue gator mouth that is opened comically large for you to walk into the gator's mouth before entering into the facility. There's a large gift shop and ticket booth that you go through, and then entering into the park itself, there are many, many long pavement pathways that go between large gator pits with wooden platforms for the gators to climb out of the water and lounge upon, as well as zip line courses over the gator pits where guests can choose to get a zip line pass to literally zip over the gators themselves. Now, a lot of the gators are separated based off of type, so you can see your African gators and crocodiles, you can see your American gators and crocodiles, and there's even a raised wooden walkway that walks through a swamp where supposedly at one time the Guinness World Record sized gator had once dwelled, I believe clocking in at about 15 feet long at the time when the record was set. So as you have entered into the facility, you can easily detect that Charles is extremely uncomfortable with this choice of attire, but is trying, as he often says, to put on the proper appearance for the situation. He has gotten a pair of aviator sunglasses himself that he has put over his eyes to hide the pain behind them as best as possible as the two of you walk through the park. Over in one area, there is a exhibition area where they'll bring out exotic birds and reptiles as well, beyond just the gators that the entire park is themed after. So you can see macaws, you can see a variety of snakes, you can even see a small family of bobcats that they bring out to display and, show off to the residents. And then there is the piece de resistance of the park, the gator wrestling facility, where they actually give a demonstration of how to properly wrestle a gator. Now, they don't go with the full-sized gators, of course. They go with ones that are maybe about 5 feet long, but they do have that option. There's also the pit that they zip line raw meat across to show gators leaping up and snatching the meat off of the zip line, but they only do that once or twice a day. With that all being said, what is Jester feeling as she takes in all of this overwhelming energy? The park isn't particularly packed as you chose to go on a weekday, but there are still many, many people present.
I could see why She Who Shines wants the gators freed from here, because this is so fucking insulting to the gators.
Yeah, a lot of the gators seem very docile, as they often do, especially in crowded surroundings like this. And it seems that many of the pits have at least a dozen, possibly more gators. Now, they are sizable. They do have enough room to spread out, even though the gators themselves tend to pile near the platforms in the center. But there is still, it does seem like this is a conservation area as well, a place that the gators are used for rehab or a place to keep them safe from the wild, as it were. But yeah, you could tell that they are very much a sideshow act of sorts, and are put on display for a variety of reasons. Charles, taking in the surroundings, his lips a hard line. So, we're here. And he looks down at himself, properly attired. Situation. Where would you like to begin?
Probably. I guess getting a lay of the area and seeing what parts are off limits to guests. Taking note.
He nods, and you begin walking down the paths. Go ahead and roll me a wits and investigation.
What's my rage at?
I would say your rage is probably at a 1. Despite the environment and the possible tension of the situation, it's relaxing. This is a reconnaissance mission, but it's also kind of a trip out. It's something different than usual.
I'll take as we're walking, I'll take Charles' hand and just like lead him along. Playing the part of the excited tourist. I'm gonna spend a willpower. I got 2 successes.
As you're taking in the surroundings, walking down the various paths, you can see that there are a series of concrete buildings around the exterior, as well as a couple in the interior that are employee-only facilities. Now, this is probably where they go to prepare for certain exhibitions, or where some of the less free-roaming animals are kept. There's also obviously the buildings that keep the water, cycling and keep everything running. So there is like a big utility building every now and then. It's not one singular building, but with each display, there are buildings in the surrounding that are meant to service the area. You can see that there are cleaning crew buildings, as well as other storage facilities, especially for the large, massive gift shop that they have, which seems to be one of the central focuses of the location itself. Charles, with his watchful eye, although it's really hard to tell what's going on behind the very, very dark sunglasses he has on, trying to obscure himself, he leans over. They have fences. Security is not particularly tight, but enough to keep trespassers from entering in most of the area.
I would say that the gators are good to turn to that, but this is Florida, so
Yes, yes, it is, he says with a sigh. Eventually, you walk onto that high wooden platform, those walkways that head through the swamp itself. As you get to the back, there's a large kind of watchtower that you can climb up, and in the railings of the watchtower, you see that people, as well as the railings along the walkway, you can see people have carved in their initials and, little messages to one another in the wooden, braces themselves. As you reach the watchtower and you find that the crowd has thinned out a little bit, Charles looks out into the swamp beyond. There's probably a fence at the exterior of the trees, but this would most likely be our best access point. The question is, how are we going to convince the Gators to leave?
That is a good question. And how are we not going to get them to, run wild in any neighboring area? How do we get them somewhere?
Yes, this is Orlando after all, and it is densely surrounded by city. I think I even saw a castle of medieval times not that far from here. So we're going to have to consider transport. We're going to have to consider how we interact with the Gators themselves, as many of the Gators are also repelled by us.
Yeah. We're on the observation tower, right?
Yeah,
All right. I'm going to look out at the area.
sure. Give me a wits and awareness.
Three successes.
You get a pang of nostalgia as you're out on the walkway, especially up in the observation tower, as it is very reminiscent of Lettuce Lake and the observation tower there, of which you spent a great deal of time, especially when you made your first trip as a pack into the Umbra. Now, this one is a little bit different. It doesn't stand on the edge of a lake. Instead, it's just primarily situated in the swamp. But looking out, you can see that there is a very dense foliage in this particular swamp. A lot of trees or bushes, obscure a lot of the area. And you can tell that it would be pretty easy to make an entry into this area. However, there are a couple of very cleverly hidden and disguised security cameras along the walkway up in the trees themselves, positioned to not be too obtrusive and stay out of sight, but definitely for recording purposes, to make sure that nobody is jumping off of the path or potentially littering within the swamp itself, as this is a conservation and preservation area.
Lean against the rail. What if there's some security cameras? Maybe we can get Artie's help in taking care of those. But what if they're obviously trained to go after food. Maybe we could lead them away with a large amount of food if we possibly point out to the areas that it looks and we could break in, break that open and lead them out that way. I mean, there's so many gators though. And then it's how do we get them away from here so they don't come back?
Well, there's also the possibility we may run across that some of them don't want to leave. If they've been domesticated enough or gotten used to these surroundings, they may not be interested in going. And how are we going to handle that?
That's a good point.
I think the better question is, what does She Who Shines want specifically? Does she want them all liberated, or is there a particular gator that she's looking for? I think
could go
even
ask her.
she's not foolish enough to want thousands of gators on the loose in the city itself. That would only lead to them being harmed, most likely.
I could go back and ask her, talk to her about it, and see if it's all of them or a particular one.
This is a massive undertaking.
Definitely.
Suddenly, Charles's posture shifts as he takes note of something and says, "Now, honey, you know we can't be taking these gators home." As you follow his gaze, you see that a couple of other guests have wandered into the watchtower itself.
Oh, but they're so cute.
I know, darling, you call them swamp puppies.
They're so... How about just a little one? We could raise it.
Where, in our backyard? I don't think the other residents of the park would enjoy that.
I mean, you know, be a good guard dog, guard puppy.
He lets out a really strained and forced chuckle as his eyes seem to primarily be trained on the other individuals that have climbed up into the watchtower and are wandering around looking out on the horizon. After a few moments, they move on, climbing back down the staircase and going further off onto the walkway. You can see Charles just let out a sigh and his shoulders drop a little bit.
You're
How much
actually pretty
longer?
good at that.
How much longer do we have to do this?
I don't know. Let's take another walk around and see if we note anything else, but... I mean... We could stop the water pumps, but I'm afraid that's gonna affect, like, the other animals.
A backup would also probably gain attention. I'm guessing they have sensors for that sort of thing.
Yeah. I guess the best would be just trying to figure out if she wants a particular gator or all of them, and then try to figure out how to get thousands of gators out if she wants all of them. That seems like... Okay, quite honestly, it seems like an impossible task that she's given us if, like, she wants all of them.
It wouldn't be beyond them to put a difficult task in front of us, one that we couldn't complete just to show our ineptitude.
Fair, fair. Which sparks that little part of me that just wants to prove them wrong even more.
I think we need to get more information, but let's get a look, maybe see how the temperament of the individual alligators are.
Okay. Well, then let's go walk around.
He takes your hand again and goes back down the watchtower.
Before he does, I'm gonna, like, give him a quick kiss. I don't get to do that often. And we're playing, so.
You see his cheeks flush a little bit, but he gives a small smile and a nod. There is something to be said for being undercover.
Pretending.
He gives you one more kiss and then a smile before he starts leading you down the watchtower and out onto the walkways. You can see that there are several paths that lead to this watchtower. It's not just a singular loop, but having investigated all the paths, you eventually return to the park proper and start looking amongst the pits. Overhead, you hear the sound of a zip as well as somebody screaming as you see a young woman attached to a zip line go from one tower to the next over one of the pits. Charles watches the person go by overhead and then just shakes his head slowly. Go ahead and roll me a wits and animal ken.
2 successes.
As you approach the various pits, you definitely can get a sense from at least a few of the gators that they are disturbed by your presence, that they move away, either diving off of the platform and into the water, or some of them even go so far as to look at you and open their massive jaws in a hiss, kind of taking a defensive posture. There are several others, though, throughout your stay that don't seem to even take notice of you, that they are just lulled into this comfort of their lifestyle and just lay out in the sun on the platform enjoying the day. Charles eventually stops at one of the pits and looks out intently towards a specific small pod of gators that seem to have congregated off to one side. He studies them, his head kind of ticking to the side as he takes them in. These gators are unlike the rest.
I'll look in that direction and study them too.
As you watch, you can see that they have that dark green, almost brown, kind of scaled exterior, but they're looking towards you with a different intensity, almost like an intelligence behind their eyes. Roll me a intelligence and awareness roll.
Spend another willpower. 3 successes.
As you study them, kind of matching their gaze, making eye contact, it takes you back to another memory. The swamp, where you were going to assist She Who Shines in ridding it of the infection. The gators that first encountered you within the preserve had a similar intelligence to them, as if they had been given directive or orders and that they had been enhanced in some fashion to be able to study, to be able to interact, still within the limitations of being an alligator. They're not going to go talking unless you find a way to speak their language. But the way they are studying and behaving shows that they are much more aware than the other ones are.
Is there any like guides or employees around here?
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that there are people taking tours, but there's also just, guides and security walking throughout the park itself, stopping occasionally when people have questions.
Yeah, I'll wave at a guide. Excuse me.
Yes. You can see that they're probably in their mid to late 30s. They've got a khaki shirt buttoned up, as well as a Gatorland pin and kind of long hanging shorts that go just beyond the knee, as well as hiking boots of their own. What can I do for you?
So how many of these gators are born here, and how many do you bring in?
Well, I couldn't give you an exact estimate, but I'm just a volunteer at the park. But I can tell you that we do have a few that, have been bred within the captivity of the park as a conservation effort, helping to rebuild their populations. But a good number of them have been brought in over time, over the last 50 or so years.
Okay, thanks. And do you have like people taking care of them after the park closes and stuff, or do they just take care of themselves?
Give me a manipulation and persuasion, or charisma and persuasion, as you were trying to root out some more information from them.
Okay. 4 successes.
They seem completely nonplussed by the question. We do have nighttime security as well as some special tours for paying customers that can take nighttime visits where they'll take flashlights out into the swamp and you can see how they behave in the evening. But we do have vets on staff as well as several employees who help tend to their needs. But as far as all night, it's mostly security.
I got it. So, I'm interested, like, those nighttime visits. They seem pretty cool. Is there, like, a way to sign up for them? Do they have, like, are they on schedules, or is it, like, every night, or?
Well, most weeknights. Usually on the weekends we don't have the tours, but on the weekdays you can sign up for the tours on the website or even at the gift shop or the ticket booth. They usually start around dusk and go for about an hour to 2 hours.
Cool. It's nice. I think I'm gonna go get a picture. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Enjoy the day. They
Thank
give you a wave and head off before being stopped by another group of visitors. Charles, having retaken the posture of his persona, again relaxes. Thanks for that.
Weekends. Most people.
It's more likely to be busy during the day, but yes, if they don't do the nighttime tours, that would provide an opportunity, perhaps on a Sunday.
Yeah.
You notice through your investigations that the park is open till 5 p.m. every day of the week. But they do have the nighttime tours that start around 6:15. This time of year is when people are expected to be there, and then the tour starts officially at 6:30 to go into the park. They do provide flashlights, and they do primarily stay to the walkways. Obviously, the zip lines are closed at that point, and a lot of the other activities are no longer going on. You see, based off of the schedules that you're passing by, that there are shows at allotted times throughout the day. The zip line feedings usually happen shortly after the park opens and right before the park closes. The gator wrestling show happens about 4 times a day, and then the exotic animal exhibit also happens probably about 4 to 6 times a day. Is there anything else you'd like to look into or find while you're here?
Can we get any closer to that particular pod of gators?
You can tell that they are positioned pretty far back against one of the corners of the pen, away from where the walkway meets the pen. So you could get a little bit closer, but probably not directly next to them or near them.
Okay. Hey, go stand by the rail and face me.
He nods and moves to the rail facing you.
Click. I'm gonna actually try to get him and the gators in there as well.
Okay, give me one more wits and awareness roll to see if you can get the perfect shot.
Three successes.
Yeah, you get a pretty well-framed shot with just him off to one side and the gator pod in the background. There are about 8 of these gators, varying in size and age, but they all are looking in the exact same direction at the pair of you, not kind of with that same ambivalence that a lot of the other gators have.
I think that might be them, but I'll take the picture back to her. I'll snap a few other pictures as well of other gators. Occasionally getting Charles in, just being like, look, just go with it.
He gives off another sigh, and then when you go to take the photos, he'll stop and like give a thumbs up and a very, very weak smile, or like the rock and roll hands. Eventually, having taken enough reconnaissance photos, at least you think for your purposes, stopping to take photos of some of the utility buildings, Charles says, that's enough work for today. He leads you over to one of the concession stands and stops to buy you a cotton candy as well as some nuts in a bag.
Ooh.
With your treats acquired, you do actually end up spending a little bit longer at the park. Charles just enjoying being away from the Caern, away from Xander specifically, and just enjoying the opportunity to be out. A rare opportunity for the two of you, as it is often just work and more work, and maybe a little bit of time at home for the two of you. You're getting better at your training, he says as he munches on some of the cotton candy himself, picking it off of the bundle and just sticking it into his mouth.
I'll hold it out to him. Yeah, I mean, I have a good teacher, so.
He lets the corner of his lip curl up at that. How are you feeling about everything?
I'll glance around. I sad, kind of, mostly about what happened in Michigan and for Jace and for the puppers. Sad about what happened to Xander. Like, I don't know, makes me, I guess, more determined to try to, like, even make the smallest bit of difference, things better.
One of the things I appreciate most about you is your empathy. But even empathy has limits. You have to safeguard yourself from slipping into that sand trap. It's a one-way trip to Hirano. Terrible things happen. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing what we're doing. And though there were great losses in Michigan, that is this life. That's what we all signed up for. And one day, it's going to come for all of us.
Except we didn't sign up for it, Charles. It happened to all of us. And we're stuck with it. But I get it. I understand. And I just have to keep moving and trying to make the change. That's how I don't fall in the hole.
But what if some of it can't be changed?
I'll have to accept that as the losses that are inevitable.
I'm worried, genuinely, about Xander. I'm worried that he might be distracting us from our goal here.
Do you want me to give up?
Never.
Well, it's a lot of research work, but I have a few leads on maybe how to help him better. They're like, I have to look up a freaking earthquake in the last, what, 400 years in the Virginia mountains. I mean, that does take out half of Virginia, like, because half of it is not near mountains, but still a lot.
Let me pose a theoretical to you. While you're doing all of that, you can't work on the current threat. Nobody is that talented. What if the worm sent the bat to distract us? I understand that Xander didn't ask for any of this, like you said. Aside from myself, maybe, none of us did.
You didn't ask for it either. You were just put in the life earlier than the rest of us.
I was made for it. But it's convenient, the timing of it all. It's convenient that someone with the worm's influence so heavily upon them shows up while we're in the middle of our battle against forces that are attempting to consume and take over. What if this is a red herring? What if this is a purposeful distraction? How much can we dedicate to this? And what kind of threat could it pose?
Glance around again, making sure nobody's gotten closer to us. After what happened in Michigan, I was worried. He was talking about spirals and labyrinths that maybe he could be used to spy on us. So it's not something I haven't thought about, but what am I supposed to do?
What do you want to do? Even this task that we're on right now, while it does possibly provide benefits of cooperation with the Mokale, it's taking us away from what we need to be doing.
Or it's providing us possible allies to help us with what we need to be doing. Unless you think we can take Piney Point by ourselves. The 5 of us. Because I don't think Eliza's going. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe, what? 9 of us?
It's a fair point. And what this threat is affects everyone. I worry we're spreading ourselves too thin. You're right, there is only 9 of us, and there's a lot to be done, but I see you taking on a lot of the responsibility yourself. Not only are you the emissary to the Farah, but you are training and researching, and let's be honest, I know that you haven't lost your interest in the leeches, more particularly Bateman. You are still a living human, at least part of you, and that's a lot for any one individual to take.
Everybody's doing a lot.
I'm not worried about everybody. I'm worried about you. You're not just another member of the Sept to me. I think you know that.
I'm afraid if I don't do these things, they won't get done, and then we'll be weak at that point.
If you do too many things, you're more likely to miss something.
Bateman's pretty much on hold anyway, so.
Statement ever on hold, truly. You're telling me if the opportunity arose that he stepped 1 foot outside of that boundary, you wouldn't attack.
Yeah, I can't. No, I would. But he's too smart for that.
Everybody makes mistakes, even leeches. Even Garou.
Are you, like, trying to lecture me on about making mistakes? Because, you know,
No,
I've
no.
made a lot of mistakes, so I kind of know everybody makes mistakes.
No. I'm not trying to lecture you. I'm trying in my unique way to express concern. I know how
See-
little you're sleeping. I know how much you're working. And I know it's necessary. I don't doubt that. I just don't want to see it wear you down. I know what it is to have a lot of pressure on you, a lot of expectations on you. And I would never want that life for anyone else.
I'll reach over and just brush his cheek. Charles, we all have that. Aspen, Artie, Eliza, Jace.
But it has to be worth it as well. You taught me that.
It is worth it.
Just try not to take on too much more. If we need to delegate, we delegate. As far as I know, we have another new Garou joining our midst. And aside from
Yeah.
getting them situated, I'm sure they have skills that could be useful.
Larry's good at talking to people and getting information. I know that.
Just he
Uh,
sighs and then shakes his head. You know what you're doing.
Moments like these make it worth it.
Who knew? He says, looking around.
I would choose a different place, honestly. Yeah, but
At least I got to wear a suit at Disney World.
you weren't undercover at Disney World.
Fair point.
Though, like, quite honestly, there were a lot of people looking at you wearing a full suit at Disney World, but, you know.
There's no accounting for lack of style.
Just because you're not just because you choose to like dress like you're going into a boardroom every day, even when you're out slaughtering vampires, does not mean other people don't have style.
I think the matching I'm with stupid t-shirts would disagree with you.
Some people find them funny. I think you would look hilarious in it.
I think this is enough dress up for the next good gap of time. Although Halloween is coming up, and I'm sure you're going to want me to wear a costume.
That's like 3 days away. It's already too late for that, man. I might find something in a closet, sure.
We should go.
Yeah.
He takes your hand again. And as you maneuver your way out of the park, roll me one last wits and awareness.
Three successes.
As you move to the entryway, you see that one of the security guards specifically has taken note of the two of you on your way out. They have an earpiece in and they're positioned at one of the entry booths. But they, while checking bags and letting other guests into the park, seem to have expressed a particular interest in you.
He's at the entrance
Yes.
with the giant gator face?
Well, beyond that, when you get to the actual gates going in.
Okay. Okay. And just like quietly to Charles, to like, guard seems to be interested in us.
I've clocked him. Do you have the sense?
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll me sense the true form.
Okay. Spend another willpower on that. Okay. Not 2 successes.
As you take a deep breath in, pulling in as much of the smells of the surroundings, you pinpoint the guard. And you get a strong scent of human, but also a small scent of leech. They are a ghoul.
Ghoul.
He nods. It's possible that this property has other investors.
Cool. Cool.
Perhaps that is why She Who Shines is so interested. Beyond
Maybe.
the liberation. We'll have to get more information.
Definitely.
The two of you exit into the gift shop where you stop to buy Charles a foam gator hat with the big gator mouth over his head. He refuses to wear it at first, but with your insistence, eventually does put it on top of the Bass Pro Shop hat that he's wearing. And the two of you exit, returning to your vehicles with a bit more information about the facility and also more questions. But with that, we transition now to our next scene. Aspen, you have been waiting for Larry's return. Ever since his first change, you have been trying to encourage him to come to the cairn to begin learning what it is to be Garou. So as evening hits, roll me a wits and awareness as you are waiting at the cairn, having been told that Larry is going to arrive on this particular day.
I'm assuming I'm rage 1. Yes?
Correct.
Okay, that's 4 with crit.
Okay. So as you are waiting, your ears pick up the sound of a truck, a pickup truck. Even from this far off of the road, you hear the sounds of it. Now, maybe it's because it's an old truck, and so it does rattle a little bit as it drives. But eventually the sound, however faint, is replaced by the scent. Now, ever since you learned the rite of kin-seeking, you have found your sense of smell to be even more varied, even more attuned to certain scents. When you're around the other Garou in the area, you pick up new odors, new notes. Now, you've always been good at tracking other members of the Sept and their whereabouts and well-being. But now there's something extra, especially if you're in close vicinity with them. And eventually that scent of Larry, of a newly turned Garou, hits your nostrils. And a few moments later, on the edge of the clearing, you see a figure with a flashlight on their phone leading their path as they enter into the clearing. Larry looks a little rugged. He's got a stubble on his chin as if he hasn't shaved in a while, but because of his youth, it can't turn into a full beard just yet. He's got a large rucksack over his shoulder and seems to be carrying the makings of some camping gear with him as well. The thing that stands out more than any of that is the biker vest that he's wearing. Now, he didn't have it with him when he went camping, but he does have it now. He also has with the rucksack a large paper bag full of groceries, camping groceries, that he has alongside him. He sees you across the clearing after taking in his surroundings and offers a light wave as he approaches. So this is it, huh?
This is it. This is the, this is our space.
Sorry it took me so long to get here. I spent a lot of time preparing myself for this moment, and I had no idea what to expect. And when I finally did think I was ready, I wanted to stop by and see Mom and check in with her before I came out here, and kind of got ambushed. Bruce was there too.
Oh, okay. How'd all that go?
You ever have somebody looking at you like they know a secret, or like they know something, and then you have another person there who's completely oblivious? That was Bruce and Mom. Bruce was just giving me these like looks the entire time. But he also, I could tell he was worried. It's like, he's always been like an uncle to me, and I guess it was nice to know that he wasn't mad. He just wanted to make sure I was okay.
I think that's how most of us feel. I don't think, especially Bruce. He just wanted to make sure you were okay, and we kept him updated as much as we could. But he was pretty worried about you after everything happened, so I'm not surprised.
Wrecked the club. I mean, aside from
I,
caring about me, that building, it's a lot of money and a lot of damage.
I don't think that's what he was worried about, though. When it came down to it, he just wanted to make sure you were safe and okay. Things can be rebuilt.
But not people.
Right.
Gave me an update on Damien. He didn't want to, but I insisted because I can't help but still feel guilty about the whole thing. Doesn't sound great.
But he's alive.
Is that enough?
It's something.
He's a dickhead. There's no doubt about that, but he didn't deserve what happened to him. Even if he was a bully, even if he was a little shit, that's a lot. Is that going to happen again? Can that happen again?
I'm not going to say it's impossible. There's positions we can get in where we can lose control. Intense anger, rage can get in the way and you can lose control. But that's why being around others and learning to control your senses and your urges and your rage is important because it helps keep that at bay.
I always prided myself on not having a short temper, but I've found myself being a little bit more agitated than normal since everything happened. Even these birds right now are pissing me off.
It definitely comes with the territory. Trust me, I pride myself on my composure most of the time as well. It's like going through a strange, weird puberty, I guess.
As if that wasn't difficult enough the first time. Is there like some sort of werewolf acne I need to watch out for?
You'll get like hairier, you're gonna have to shave more often. It's just a thing.
Okay. Well, I'm here.
I'm kidding about the hair thing. You don't have to worry about that. That's a shifting, changing thing, and that goes away after you're back to yourself. So you don't have to worry about all that.
He chuckles and reaches up and rubs the stubble on his face. So this is just me being away. Got it.
Right.
So what's next? What now?
Well, there's a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you about that. There's a lot to learn and a lot to know, but we can start simple and I don't want to say easy. But I'm asking as if you know what I'm talking about, but have you had any spiritual feelings or visions or anything of that nature?
I guess that's what that was. I've been having dreams a lot lately.
Okay.
Really weird, unusual dreams of a place I've never been, and not even something from like a book, but there were ruins. I don't know, a broken castle or something. And a field of people as if they were frozen in a battle. and I heard a voice, usually before I woke up, just saying, "You're mine."
Okay. Ruins, frozen, battle, possessive. Hmm. Can I make any correlation
Yeah, give me
of
an
spirits?
intelligence and occult.
I'm going to use willpower.
Okay.
3.
A lot of spirits tend to be drawn to certain Garou. You knew this with your experience with Falcon. You've seen this recounted in other experiences, but usually it's up to the Garou to choose. Very rarely are they chosen for them. Now, there are obviously some distinct exceptions like Black Furies and Black Spiral Dancers. But in this particular case, based off of everything that is described, you're able to relate it to some experiences that Jester has recounted of the Gorgon. The Gorgon is very possessive and very demanding and usually knows immediately who her followers are going to be. Even Juniper's experience dictates that shortly after their change, if not almost immediately, the Gorgon will take them.
Okay. Aspen pauses, kind of thinks through what he was explaining, and she chuckles. The reason I ask is because we all have a tribe, along with our auspice that I explained to you
Right.
on our first meet.
Philodox?
Right. And
So, a tribe?
yes. So our auspice is given to us when we change, of course, you being a Philodox with kind of balancing, following the litany, being someone of justice in a lot of ways. But then we have a tribe. Some of us select our tribe, some of us are offered into a tribe, and some of us are just chosen by the patrons of that tribe.
Okay, so the optics on that aren't great. I'm going to be completely honest. I mean, a bunch of white people walking around talking about tribes, that seems like that wouldn't go over well.
That's why we only talk to each other about it, right?
Yeah.
Kind of
Okay.
keep it to the people who know, so you don't sound like a crazy person at best, I guess.
Okay. So,
But
yeah.
but we all have a tribe. There's different tribes that kind of fit different molds. There's Bone Nars, for example, that's Jace. They're kind of more the Garou who enjoy the city, enjoy secrets, things of that nature. They are represented by the spirit of Rat. Rat is their patron. My patron, for example, is Falcon. I'm the tribe of Silverfangs, like Charles also. We are leaders, motivators, kind of taking the charge in that sort of way.
So, is that why you're always dressed like a lawyer?
Well, partly and partly because I am a lawyer, and that's my, I guess you could say, day job when I'm not doing all of this.
And what's his excuse?
You know, you'll meet Charles and it'll all start clicking. He's uniquely Charles.
You just don't see a lot of suits in a biker bar.
No, but you're never really going to see him without a suit anywhere. So
How do you do that? How do you be a lawyer and also be this? I mean, isn't there like a chance you get angry in a courtroom, or I don't know, go Incredible Hulk on some poor prosecutor?
honestly, it's a potential. Absolutely. But as I said, it becomes easier, and having the composure to keep yourself straight when you need to is important to me, wanting to keep my life as the human side and not just go straight to the wolf side or the spirit side. I find being integrated into the human side is something important to me. And sometimes it's not for everybody. There's people born, well, there's lupus born, one's born wolf that become Garou later. That's a possibility as well. They want to keep their wolf side and don't care much more for their human side.
So a wolf can turn into this?
Absolutely.
I thought mine was trippy.
Yeah, becoming a Garou and having to learn to be a human, I think is much harder than learning to become a wolf in a lot of ways. So I sympathize.
Yeah.
We kind of got the better end of the stick, I think, in that case.
So back on this talk of spirits, what are they? Why are they? Like what's that all about? I mean, I just figured you turned into a werewolf and tried not to eat babies or hurt people, or, you know, went on the run and hid out as much as possible.
Right. We touched a little bit on this before, but I can go into more detail. We fight for Gaia. The embodiment of the world is the best way to describe it, but she herself is the world, and we fight for her because she's slowly dying with pollution, corruption. It's killing her quite literally, not just metaphorically on the environmental side of things. She is dying. She is wilting away, and we are fighting to keep her alive. And there's reasons that she's dying. There's a triad, if you will, of larger spirits. There's the wild. That's the creation, the nature of the world, and then there's the weaver, which is technology with buildings, the human creation of it all. And then there's the worm, and the worm is decay and death and those kind of things. But in our situation, the worm, when they're all in balance, it works fine. But the worm is out of balance and is taking over, and the corruption and the decay and the death of Gaia is becoming at a rapid rate because of it. And we're trying to combat that.
So like deforestation and all that and the spread of people over nature. Sorry if I'm asking questions I've asked before. It's just a lot to take in. But where do the tribe spirits come in? What's the deal with that? Like why? I mean, why aren't we all the same?
Well, that's asking why people aren't all the same, why we don't all have the same personalities and the same thoughts and movements and goals, because we are different. And it's kind of, you have a personality that fits that, and you fit in that space. So, for example, my Silverfangs, they crave to push and motivate and lead people, sometimes not right away. But that's in their nature. And then again, you have your auspice, which is also a bit of your nature, your justice, your need to keep things fair, those kind of things that I've seen only slightly in you, but I can tell that they're there, those needs. But with a tribe and a patron, the spirit guides their tribe. They take all those like-minded, natured individuals and they guide them through being Garou and through learning and through fighting this fight. That's what they're there for. And we all have different strengths and weaknesses. And that's why we kind of fit in a different mold from others.
Right. So, how many werewolves are there?
Many, many. I mean, here in Tampa, there's just us and um, the pups here, but that's not to say that there's others outside of Tampa, somewhere in Florida. We know many different packs and seps scattered throughout the United States, and it goes beyond that too. It's not just the United States, it's the whole world, right? Because we're all fighting for Gaia, and Gaia's everywhere.
So, there are werewolves being changed and born all over the place?
Yes.
How did they not get found? How is nobody catching on? How have they stayed hidden for so long? I mean, it was just storybooks and movies and TV shows. Like, it seems, I mean, I feel lucky that I didn't get caught with what happened.
Well, that's on twofold. It's not lawless in Garou culture. We have laws, we have the litany, and the veil, and keeping the veil is part of that. So not disclosing what we are, who we are to humans, as to not cause panic and fear, because it's in human nature to fear things they don't understand. But then to a more Garou side, I guess you could call it supernatural side of things. We have humans don't take seeing us in our large war form well. So they tend to run or forget seeing us in those stages.
And war form, that's like full werewolf, right? Like big.
Yeah, like the ones you see in movies.
Right. Okay. Okay. So because they can't remember, it helps hide what. I mean, there's still so much evidence. I mean, there's people getting hurt and places getting destroyed, and how do you explain all of that?
You have some good people taking care of it. Sometimes you have spirits helping you get rid of records with gifts and things like that, which is things you'll learn as you grow as a Garou. Rites, rituals, just, I don't know, having somebody like me who is still a lawyer can kind of move through spaces like that to cover up certain situations.
Yeah, I guess a werewolf lawyer would be a good thing to have if there's a lot of werewolf law breaking.
We also have a werewolf hacker, so that comes pretty handy a lot of the time too.
How does that work in the Gaia of it all if they're so invested in computers and all of that stuff?
Well, that's another tribe. There's spirits and everything. So it's not just nature spirits. There's spirits and technology as well. And they use those spirits, communicate with those spirits to interact in technology and manipulate technology in a lot of ways. Artie is a glasswalker, and that's what his tribe actually does really well. Not to say other tribes can't, it's just that's something they do very well.
Okay. Okay. That all makes sense, I guess. Spirits and everything. Oh, that makes me feel really bad about some things like throwing away trash. How okay, so if what are we allowed to do?
That's a very broad question. I'm going to need you to break it down into parts for me.
Um, I guess how do you live like that, knowing that everything's alive? I guess, like, can you drive cars? Because that causes pollution. And can you? I mean, will I be able to ride my motorcycle? Will I be able to? I mean, I would assume we shouldn't litter or anything like that. Like, how do you not live the full hippie life, I guess, after all of that? Like, how do you not just go into the woods and not return?
Well, she kind of points at the cairn. Uh, this comes with the territory a lot of the time, the cairn. Um, I think those are great questions, and I makes sense that you're a Philodox. There's a lot of philosophical questions with that, but I think you just do the best you can to reduce and to not cause more harm to Gaia.
Yeah, yeah.
Picking up trash, mitigating what you can.
Minimalize your impact as best as possible. Okay.
Right.
So I felt something when I got here, a strange other feeling. Like, I felt really at home when I was camping, but this was different. When I came in, it felt like it was almost pulling me in, or I don't know. At first there was some invisible resistance, but then it kind of wrapped around me, and the air changed coming in here. That's spirits?
Cairns have a stronger spiritual connection to us, to Gaia. It's where we feel Gaia the most and spirits the most. And the resistance is we speak with spirits and we have spirits help, or we have our gifts and our rights that we use to protect this place because it's very sacred to us.
I gotta be honest, it was really hard to find the place. If you hadn't given those very specific directions, I don't know if I ever would have found it. There's so much woods out here, and it was like until I got to a certain point, I couldn't even tell I was going anywhere. Like, I was just wandering.
Good. So that's exactly how we want it, honestly. So it's kind of a good
Can
thing.
imagine. I mean, we're so close to the city. I don't know how you set up a camp here, but okay. So you said that certain spirits claim certain people. Is that what I am? I mean, how do I know what tribe I am or anything like that?
Well, as I said, you can pick, or others will usher you in. That's a bit what happened to me, but it sounds like in your case, you've been picked by a spirit already. One that's not likely to let you go easily. Their name is Gorgon, like in the storybooks, yes.
It, like, snakes and Medusa and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not bad.
No.
I never
the most
thought
part.
of Medusa as like a good creature.
Well, it depends on what stories you follow and what you believe when it comes to lore in that way. But all spirits aren't bad, but they can be corrupted. And that's how we get things like Banes. Banes are spirits of, I think, jealousy, anger, negativity. It's just negative spirits. Spirits honed into the negative of things, and spirits can be corrupted by those things, and they are spirits themselves. So, banes and things of that nature. But other spirits, for the most part, they're just of a nature. Doesn't mean they are good, bad, or otherwise. They're just neutral.
So kind of like people, just varied and random and with their own feelings and but they're not all Gaia?
They're all of Gaia.
Just like we're all of Gaia.
Correct. And not to get into like the hippie philosophical side, but yes, we're all connected.
Yeah, you said something about us being part spirit ourselves. So I guess we're kind of related to them in some fashion, albeit distantly.
Exactly. Yes, we're part human, we're part wolf, and we're part spirit.
Okay. That's a lot, but I get it. I think I understand. So what about all the other things? Like if we're part Gaia, does that mean people, regular humans are part Gaia? And how does that extend to the vampires?
Yes, we're all part of it. But humans falter. They don't understand it on the deeper level like we do, so they're fallible. They cause corruption. They bring banes. They don't understand it the same way. How could they? Don't they aren't all three. They're only one part of it. Just like animals, things like that. It's you can't understand it if you're just part of it. But leeches specifically, they're they're a tricky one. They are
Wait,
some
there's
say
actual leeches too, like were-leeches?
no, this is what we call vampires, just like we're
Oh,
werewolves, but we call ourselves Garou.
oh, that's clever. With the
Right,
yeah, okay,
exactly. You get
yeah,
it.
that makes sense.
Some believe they are of the worm, some believe they are corrupted by um the ideas of the worm, but they are not, they're not of Gaia. They're not,
But they were.
right. But in their changing, they are a bastardization of what they once were.
Okay, go with me on this. It's a philosophical thing, I guess, as I am prone to do now. The worm is of Gaia. The worm could be possibly responsible for vampires. So, in a way, they are still of Gaia. They're just from the out of balance side.
That is a logical idea. Problem is, I think it comes from most of their natures. They want to consume, they hurt humans, they hurt Gaia, they hurt the world, they no longer thrive or help thrive in Gaia's world. They consume it. They're most of them are also find themselves in a place of greed and power. But that's not to say all of them, but just in their nature, they do consume. Of course, as you know from stories, they drink blood.
They, I guess, defy nature by not dying. I mean, everything's supposed to die, and they don't. They just keep going. If the stories are true, I assume that's still the case, right?
Right. I mean, they can only be killed. They can't die. You're correct.
Okay. Um, what else is out there that I should be aware of? Like, we've got most of the classic monster movies covered, or am I going to have like a Frankenstein's monster to look out for, or a mummy, or
Aspen waits and avoids the question for just a few seconds, contemplating how much she should tell him without getting him overwhelmed. So she just pauses and contemplates. Well, um, particularly in our situation, there are Frankenstein-esque things happening here. They're not normal. This is something specific for us, I believe. They could be somewhere else, but it sounds like it's originating here. We'll get into that in a second, but there are other changing breeds. There are were rats, there are were bats, there are were gators. Those all exist. We have a long history with them,
I'm
and
sorry,
we'll get
where
into
gators?
yes, we're gators.
Okay. Why not?
And we will get into long conversations, probably to an exhausting, irritating extent of the history and the politics of the Garou culture and nation, because I'm sure you would rather hear it from me than have Charles lull on and on. So I'll give you the rundown, but that'll probably be for another time.
Yeah, I think I want to spend as little time with Charles as possible. I think that is going to be a lot, but it's not irritating. It makes sense in the natural order of things that anything's possible, I suppose. I mean, this opens up so many unknowns, but at the same time, it does make sense. I mean, if everything comes from the same place, why wouldn't they have, I guess, a supernatural version of them? And it's fascinating. It's just overwhelming at first, but I think that it'll make sense with time and compartmentalization. Uh, okay, so just dispelling some myths. You don't have to be bit to turn into, because I've never been bit by a wolf or anything like that.
No.
We're not monsters. That's just a perception that culture and society and whatnot has put on it. And you said the nation. That makes sense, I guess, if there's so many werewolves out there that they'd organize. And it seems like we're not fighting a winning battle. I mean, if we're supposed to stop spread, if we're supposed to stop corruption and decay, especially lately, seems like we're losing really bad.
A lot of people believe that. I think I like to be hopeful. I like to think that things can change and be different. That's what I'm trying to do here. That's a whole me soapbox thing. But I think it's a dangerous route to start thinking that it's a losing battle, because then you lose hope. And if you lose all hope, you lose what it is to be a guru.
Right. So get antidepressants. Got it. I mean, yeah, you got to keep trying. That was even before this. I saw what Tampa was becoming, what it had been for a long time, and you got to fight, right? Like you have to try at the very least to make change, or else you're just succumbing to it. You're just giving in, and I don't want that. I don't want to give in. It just means we have to work harder. Thankfully, there's so many of us. Uh, okay. I think I'm getting it. So does this mean I live here now? I mean, I don't see anybody else around.
You absolutely could. We could set you up here if you feel more comfortable here. But Artie and I have an apartment. Jester and Charles go off to their homes. Jace has his house behind his bar. Um, Eliza lives here. She's the one I told you about that is more educated on the spirits side of things, and has seen a lot and knows a lot. She stays here. And then the younger ones that came here from Michigan, they all have a house together. But Delphine stays here for the most part, it seems.
Okay. So you have a job, obviously, and it sounds like Jace has. How do you keep all of that in balance? Like, how do you do all that plus all the other stuff you have to do? Like, I mean, it seems like this would be a full-time gig.
It is. It's difficult sometimes, but I can't speak for Jace, but personally for me, I think if I let all of that human side of myself go, I lose at least part of myself. And as the leader of the sept here, um, it's also very important that I'm here doing all of this. So is it exhausting? Is it a lot? Absolutely. But I think it's all aspects of my life now.
I can imagine it would be. How do you? I think I've asked this before, but I just keep coming back to it. How do you have non werewolf family or friends? How do you balance all that? How do you maintain all of that? I mean, it just feels like you're lying to them all the time. And lying seems wrong. I mean, I guess not in this case because pitchforks and torches and whatnot, but I mean, I don't get how mom or dad aren't werewolves. I don't get how you're supposed to maintain those connections and not tell them what's going on. I mean, it was really hard keeping the secret when I went and saw her again, especially when she just wouldn't stop asking questions.
So that's the most difficult part is holding on to those connections, but those connections are important. And if you're fighting for them, and yes, it's a big secret, but it helps me to have solace knowing that I'm keeping that secret to fight for them and to fight for everyone, but mostly them to me is important. And it is difficult and it can be a strain on the relationship. I'm not going to lie to you in that, but you learn to find a family in the Garou around you as well, because who's going to know you better than someone who's been through everything with you or like you?
I guess that's kind of true. I don't want to lose what I had. That was the big thing about when they came and told me that I was going to change and everything like that. It just felt like the end of the life I had, and it was rough around the edges, but I liked that life. I have a mom that I care about, and the gang and everything like that. I don't want to lose all of that, even if it is for a really good reason.
I completely understand that. I think most of us do. I think it gets tricky because being this, you get into situations where you're in a lot of danger, and that danger can seep out to the people you care about, ones who know nothing about it. And that comes with the territory of this. It's not sunshine and roses all the time. There's a lot of it that really sucks. But so does life, just in general, too, just being human. And there's parts of it that suck and you hate. But I think in your case, it's really helpful that we've already integrated into the biker club and you have Bruce who knows this life. And so Bruce can help you make sure that your mother's taken care of as well because he knows her well. And you have your grandmother at the biker club that can keep an eye on you, and we can keep an eye on her as well.
You learned about that, huh? She
I
doesn't
did.
like being called grandma, I'll tell you that much. How? I don't know how Bruce isn't having inadequacy issues if he's not a werewolf too. Guess this means I'm patched in. How do you avoid getting an ego or getting, feeling better than everyone, a superiority? You have this special thing about you that they don't have. Like, why aren't werewolves running the world?
Again, we'll get into the history then, because there's some things not so great on our side. But I mean, you absolutely could. You can push yourself to think that you are better and know better than the humans, the animals, the land around you, and push so far in that direction that you'd be willing to do anything to get your goal of saving Gaia. But what good does that do? You're doing more harm than good in that perspective, and you lose a lot of the balance in yourself in that regard.
I don't want that. I mean, still trying to come to terms with this not being a curse of some kind or, a punishment for some stupid thing I did as a kid or something, but I do feel powerful. That worries me more than emboldens me, I guess. Like, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to.
Right. And I can tell you this, just like your life before you knew all of this, the world has a interesting way of humbling you when you get too arrogant.
I can see that. All right. What do you need me to do? What do you need to know from me? Is there like werewolf boot camp I have to go to or something? Like, what's next? What?
Yeah, let's call it Werewolf Boot Camp. I'll be giving you the rundown. There's still a lot for you to know. I know today seems like you got all the information, but that's
Oh
not the
no,
case.
I don't think that for a second. Like, there were plenty of things we kicked the can down the road about. Like, this is a lot, but okay. So I stay here now, at least for a while. I don't want to risk an accident happening again, and so I
Oh,
think it would be good if I did stay.
yes, and we've got plenty of people here if you're worried about an accident, we have plenty of people here to make sure that that doesn't happen.
I just more meant out there. I assume, being the young werewolf, I'm going to get my ass kicked by anybody who's been around long enough, but I just want to make sure I have it locked down, have a lid on it, so that I can, if I go out there again, I know I'm going to be okay and that I'm not going to fly off the handle again. And especially with my mom or Bruce or anyone at the club, I just don't want anything bad to happen. Not again.
I get that. I get that more than you know. And we'll get you to a point where you feel confident in being this and being who you are. And it'll take some time. It's not going to happen overnight, and I'm sure you know that. But I want you to feel solace in the fact that you will gain that confidence. You will feel like you are whole again.
Good. I want to feel normal. I want to feel like I can fully accept this. I mean, I've come to terms with the fact that it's happened, but I'm not sure that I completely get what that means for me yet, uh, to be honest. But I'll figure it out, because What other choice do I have?
And you can come to me with the feelings around it, not just for learning or the Garou stuff, just the emotions around it. I get it. I didn't want to be this when we started. It was not, I avoided it. And I know how that feels. But also, if you want to talk to somebody different, there's Artie. Artie, he's really good about talking through emotions. Um, he's got his license in that. And
Therapist? You got a werewolf therapist on retainer too?
excuse you, therapist hacker. Okay,
Oh,
put some respect
right.
on it.
Oh, of course. Okay. I don't know about all that. I think I'll save my questions for you, at least for the most part, but I don't need to go into my daddy issues that are very prevalent. Okay, so I guess that's it for now. So okay, wait, one more thing. So the auspices, you're file it out, like, is that a job, or like what does that mean? Is it just, we have a tendency towards sugar or something like that, or does it mean that we have like a job?
It is kind of like a job. It's not exactly, but it is a dynamic within your pack. So making sure there's justice and balance and following the litany and all of that is a Philodoc's job. Also waxing philosophical on the litany as a whole. What's breaking it, what's not. That's kind of our shtick. It's what we're good at. That's where we fit in the pack. Whereas Jester is a Galliard. She collects the stories of the Garou and the different missions, the different things we've gone through, the different new Garou, their stories. She collects a lot of stories. That's her thing. Jace and Eliza, they're theurges. They are more in tune with the spirits. They are more in tune with the Umbra, which will get you into the Umbra when you're feeling a little bit more steady on your feet. And we have Artie's a Ragabash. His job is basically play devil's advocate amongst the pack, make sure all avenues are being addressed. So we all have our different dynamics, and usually we kind of fit well into the auspice before we've ever changed.
So it was kind of, we were born into it as the type of people we are.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I have you as a auspice mate, I guess. I mean, it's it's all unusual. I thought if there was anyone I was gonna be right there with, it'd be Jester. She's, biker chick and all that. But
Oh, no. You're going to be right there with her because it sounds like if Gorgon has chosen you, you're going to be talking to Jester a lot because she is also a Black Fury, and that's what you would be. So I think, again, when you're steady on your feet, we maybe have a conversation with Jester or Jester and Eliza, and they can get you more in tuned on your patron side.
hope she doesn't turn me to stone or anything crazy like that. I don't even know how that works, but okay.
Just be respectful, and you're usually in the clear.
Oh, I may be a werewolf now, but I'm not gonna go picking fights with legendary creatures of myth. And yeah.
For the best, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I know I don't know if I've said this yet, but thank you for being nice about it all. I mean, I could understand that what happened may have put you guys at risk, or, I was very resistant to all of this very early on. It's still going to be hard for a while to come to terms with a lot of it, but you've shown me nothing but kindness, and that means a lot. I'm sure you've got other things that you could be doing or dealing with, and this probably was inopportune, to be sure. I mean, from the sounds of it, you guys were really busy. But just thank you for understanding and relating to all of it.
Of course, we can all relate in our own way, absolutely. And I'm happy to be here for you. And to be honest, thank you. This is actually the first time I've gotten to do something like this. Teach a new pup and find them and do all of this. So this is kind of new to me too on this side. So I guess we're learning how to do this together.
Yeah, definitely feedback. Work on the sales pitch you guys are giving, because my first conversation was not the best. It definitely left me feeling some sort of way about the whole thing and made me very awkward around you guys for a bit. But this was good, I think, all things considered. And I want to help. I want to help any way that I can. I just got to figure out how to control all this first, I guess.
We'll get you there. But for now, let's get you set up.
Okay. As the two of you head off to get him situated within the cairn, what's going through your mind after this meeting with Larry?
There's a strange reprieve in doing this kin seeking with Larry, with the craziness and the doom of it all on the Garou side, and the nose to the grindstone on the law human side of things. There's something in teaching somebody else and being there emotionally and sharing knowledge that just feels comfortable, that feels warm and relaxing. So she is enjoying it a lot. She worries that she might be messing it up, but she is quite enjoying it.
So as you get him situated, eventually he sets up a camp and you part ways heading home, feeling a little bit proud of what's occurred, but I'm sure there's still some apprehension beneath the surface. Did you do it wrong? What could be the future of Larry with everything you've told him? But it worked for you. Why not for him? And with that, we transition to our final scene of the first half of tonight's story. Jace, you put out an invite to a new group of rapscallions that have entered into the city. That group is the Ratkin, the were-rats, cousins of yours through your patron spirit of rat. So one night at the bar, it's been a couple of nights since your invitation, but eventually, as it's getting later in the evening, you see a collection of individuals slowly drift in. They all kind of have similar features, looking like street kids based off of their attire. Definitely too young to be in the bar. And at first, you almost wanted to usher them out until you recognized a look about them, a look that they gave, a familiarity, or an almost superior gaze, a very insightful gaze. Whether it was the black pools of their eyes, something tipped you off that you had given the invitation. So eventually, as it gets just before closing time, you see that about 4 of them have assembled, and one of them is, in fact, Skeeter, the last one to arrive. Him being the tallest of the group. None of them are taller than about 5'8". They all are pretty short, but also considering that they look anywhere from 16 to 19 years old, maybe they aren't done growing yet. They've all gathered at one of the tables over in the corner. One of them had come up and snagged one of the bowls of peanuts off the counter and took it over there. Another helped themselves to a pitcher of water that you had presented on the bar. And they are gathered around talking, and you see that the last of the patrons appears to be wrapping up and heading out for the night. And now, with the bar primarily empty, although it's been a lot busier lately since you've invited the bikers by and they've been spending a lot of time there, the last patron to leave is, in fact, one of the bikers, who gives you a look and then looks towards the corner table as if to say, "You good? Is this all right, or do you want me to?" Okay. So as he leaves, you go, lock the doors, make sure everything looks closed, and it's just you and the Ratkin.
Do a brief cleanup, letting them do their chatter, get their fill of the water and peanuts and whatever little food is around. Then make my way over to the bar, start wiping it down, look over, make eye contact with Skeeter and kind of call him over.
Skeeter hops off of his chair, which he had turned around backwards as cool kids do, and heads over to the bar before hopping up onto a stool. So is this where we eat?
Yeah, how are you with directions?
What, are you going to make me cook? Because I didn't know that was part of the deal.
No, I said come through the back.
Oh.
That was the front.
Yeah, well.
Common mistake, that's fine.
It's a warehouse. Every way is a door. I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong. This place is great, but it's not what you'd expect.
That's kind of the point of it. It's fine. I just wanted to bust your balls a little bit, understanding the front and back door. But it's a decent looking group that you got, though, looking over at the table.
Yeah, we do all right for ourselves, all things considered.
You guys doing okay, though? Like, it's been a few days.
Oh, yeah, we're fine. I mean,
Good.
We've been fine. I think you, more than anyone else, knows that we've been here longer than we say we have.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. So I was here for a little bit, about pushing a month before I made myself known. How long have you been here? If just between us.
Just between us, huh? You're not going to go ratting us out to the other puppers?
No. This was just more my own curiosity.
Well, we've been in town. I mean, I guess the first of us started coming here about 10 or so months ago.
10 months? Wow.
Yeah. We were interested and decided to migrate south, see what a Florida summer was going to be like. And then we found it to our liking. I mean, we had a purpose for being here, obviously. He always makes sure of that. And we helped him out from time to time on a couple of things he was doing and got settled, and we were told, just wait. You'll know when you're needed. Lo and behold, who comes looking for us but you? Well, I guess you were looking for him, but we answered.
In a way, I'm happy that you did. Hearing about Ratkin coming down and being part of this, part of me got pretty excited about that. Out of all the different entities that have been coming through, you guys I was actually a little excited about.
Really? We don't get that kind of greeting very often.
I I understand that.
I mean, of the
So Rat,
the changing breeds, we kind of got the short end of the stick, literally and figuratively. But the boss isn't too bad.
nah, the boss looks out for his own.
So how does that all tie into you guys?
Well, as far as the group that I'm a part of, the tribe, Rat, I'm part of the Bonar. Rat is the patron spirit of them. And so Rat looks after us. We do things for Rat, stay in his good graces. Rat provides different intel and things like that.
Okay. I guess that all makes sense being the spiritual type. I just never expected to be breaking bread or sharing a bar with any of your kind. Heard stories. None of them good.
Yeah, I'd like to say that I'm sorry, but what happened was not
You didn't do it.
no, it wasn't me. I would have handled things very differently.
I'm sure. I don't think he'd have
Yeah,
let
the
you do
whole-
anything else.
No, he would not have. The whole knife in the back kind of stuff. Not really my forte.
What
But you
is...
said Rat called you down here?
Yeah.
Want to know my
Yeah.
know my forte?
Yeah, I want to know what your forte is. It's a $5 word if
like-
I've ever heard one.
I like being face to face with someone trying to figure them out.
Let's see. So you like to get all the know-how, all the deepest, darkest secrets. That is something that we share. Although mine go beyond just people. I like to also get into things, but yeah, Rat called us down here, but there was also something else, something beyond that. I mean, we were happy where we were. We had our own jobs and scavenging to do, but about coming up on a year ago, we felt something change. Something inviting, something unusual, unknown. And it just kind of pulled to us like a magnet. And Rat said, follow that. Don't be afraid of it. So we did. And you definitely feel it around here. It's unlike anything else I've ever felt before.
Tampa does that. It has a different overall energy to it. Especially being the more spiritually inclined. I felt a very strong pull to come here, though mine was a little different, I'm sure, than your guys's.
Probably, but maybe not. Maybe it was the same. Oh, let me shout out some of the crew here. He looks over to the table. That little squat bastard is Ollie. And then we got Dodger. And he points to another kind of thin, gangly looking individual. And we got Maylin. He points to the female of the group who has been eyeing you in a kind of predatory way, but a playfully predatory way, as if she's checking you out.
She okay?
I thought hormones hit me bad. She's a whole different breed. The change did something to her, and she's fine. She's harmless. But if you wanted to give her some photos of you shirtless or something, I'm sure she wouldn't complain.
You know, I'm sure if I had those, she would already have them anyways.
We got cameras on our phones.
Just give a little wave to the group. You said that there was several of you. Is this a lot of them, or am I expecting more to be? Okay, yeah, all right.
He just
Like, I can
gives you a
accommodate
face
this.
like, Well, there are some of us that are a little more skittish about the idea of sharing space, but I thought set a good example, show them that you're not going to do anything foolish or, annoying. And I'm sure they'll come by eventually, but we like to only congregate in one place if we have to. Better to spread out that way.
No, that's fair. So with your group, do you have like someone that you report to? Are you the big boss, or is there someone that's above you?
Well, we do have a daddy of sorts, but he's of the older persuasion, doesn't like to go out that much. He prefers to stay at the den, and he's a mentor, I guess. He was there for all of our changes. And he just kind of takes care of us, brings us together, and sometimes gives out the good word, gives out marching orders, but he's not social. We'll just put it that way.
Got it. A secluded leader.
Yeah.
Respect that. So he gives the orders. Do you guys all have like individual jobs you guys do, or do you just all do one job that he gives you?
Well, I mean, we have things that we're good at. That's what you mean. But we work together on everything. Except, occasionally one of us will be sent on something small, like fundraising. That's kind of a solo sport a lot of the time. But yeah, we work together.
I like it. I'm just curious on how, like, what similarities that we would have like together. Because I report to, you met Aspen, to her, and then she delegates and gives things out.
Oh, we don't go howling at the moon, and we actually like our fleas. So that's a difference, I guess.
I like to say howling at the moon's not a thing, but it's beneficial. All right, it does help.
Yeah, I imagine.
We have a deeper connection with the moon. All right, just like you have a deep connection with your damn fleas. So I find them annoying and repulsive, but they have a purpose.
Yeah. And they're supposed to be annoying and repulsive. Keeps people from wanting to hang out too much.
Thus serving their purpose. They're doing a grand job.
Yeah.
So my plan is, they're good here. They'll kind of like usher him towards the back.
I got the camera. If you really want to make her day.
Not that.
Oh. All right. He hops off the stool and just actually like vaults over the bar.
So he'll take him into the back where Jace's overall apartment's at, and then he'll show him off to the side. Depending on how many of you there are, I'm gonna knock this wall out, and I'm gonna have people come and build you guys an actual an area to accommodate like 30 plus people.
Oh, so like a private dining room.
Kinda, yeah. Just somewhere where you guys can go, have your own things, be able to do what you need to, be able to come and go as you please.
Oh, are we affecting your precious clientele with our presence?
No, it's just if you had something going on and you didn't want to come through the front and cause an issue or an uproar, you can go into your areas within the back.
Got it. I was about to say I'm doing my job badly if I'm not affecting your clientele in some fashion. But
my clientele doesn't really care too much. Like, you have to, not even bleeding on them probably wouldn't bother them too much. Spitting their food, yeah, they're not gonna be happy with that.
Yeah, you had an awful lot of bikers here. And the name Howlers, isn't that like too on the nose?
Not my thing. But we're on good terms with the bikers.
You gotta talk to your PR people. That's basically like, hey, looking for werewolves? Come here.
You know, the whole hiding in plain sight. You know about that.
That I do. Do indeed. Okay. I think that's nice. Very accommodating of you. So,
You know, it's
we got started on the little job you gave us. Don't want to be
Good.
slacking too much. So, the city is, well, it's a lot. And their spread, as far as we can tell, is pretty deep. They got their fingers in everything, especially in the city itself. God, it reeks. And that's coming from me. There are some places we couldn't go, which was so frustrating, to say
I
the very
bet.
least. But Maylin, she's kind of our eyes of sort of a extra nature. They'd warded certain buildings. They put up markings, sigils. Some of them were even carved in or inscribed. A lot of blood magic going on out there. A lot. They've been bringing in people from the university. I'm guessing one of the leeches. And they've been hard at work reinforcing things. Setting up protections, not just of a physical nature or a spiritual nature. I would say they're taking advantage, full advantage of this little piece you two have.
Yep.
Something tells me they're expecting you to break it.
There's a strong part of me that wants to.
I get it. So why'd you do it?
Do what?
Why'd you make the piece?
Because of the multiple fronts that we are fighting on, we are needing to make sure that we are focusing on one thing instead of taking out the weak ones.
Listen, don't give me the bullshit lawyer talk.
That is the answer I have been given.
What's your answer? Why do you do it?
I do it because
obviously, you're kind of doing it because you're bringing in a bunch of vermin to go snooping for you. So you already don't feel some kind of way about it.
I talked to Aspen about it actually before coming to see you, old rat, and then you showed up. But I feel like those leeches are backpedaling, and us hitting them now would be smart. She didn't want to do it straight up, which I get. We are spread thin. So had the overall agreement of trying to figure out a way to get intel on some of the things that they have. Be able to, instead of fighting them head on, be able to fight them differently. We can't step foot there. They didn't say we couldn't fight them on different grounds.
That makes sense. What are you looking for specifically from us? Because I can give you all kinds of information, but should be tailored. If you want us to be looking for something specific.
Their boss, the big honcho leech guy, he's the one that deals with. He is providing a means to take care of. Are you aware of the plant issue? You've been here for 10 months. I'm sure you've heard about the stupid plants we're dealing with.
You mean Night of the Living Dead? Yeah, we've seen it.
Them.
Yeah. Really
So we're
bad
trying to deal
Last
with
of
that.
Us ripoff.
Yeah, and Invasion of the Body Snatch. It's a weird thing that they're doing out at Piney Point.
Really wish they were clickers. I'll tell you that much. That would make it a lot easier to keep an eye out for them. But yeah, okay. So Piney Point.
Yeah, so there's a deal going on to take care of the plants, but the best way we found to take care of the plants is with cold iron, and that is the means in which to eradicate and get rid of these things. Moving forward with that, that shit's hard to find.
But the leeches had it.
But they have it. I want to cut out the middleman altogether and just go for the source.
Okay. Well, we can keep an eye out for it. But my guess is, based off of all of the precautions they're taking, they're going to have that place pretty locked up tight. You have a need, they can fulfill that need. And as long as they have what you need away from you, you have to be nice.
Correct. And that's where you come in. If you can find the source, or while it's being transported, or where from, that'd take care of a lot of issues.
But we do have eyes on the docks. We haven't seen anything new happening. So my guess is it's already here, or it's being brought in a different way. Now, that's like looking for a needle in a haystack. This is a major metropolitan area. There's trucks coming and going all the time. But I think I have an idea of what you're looking for, because there were only 2 real places that were heavily secured. One of them is the big old eyesore downtown. And the second one, funny enough, a credit union downtown.
Credit union.
Yeah. A bank. Small. Easily overlooked. They have been having a lot of deliveries and armored trucks coming through. Now, we know about the usual drops or pickups that banks do, part of the fundraising, but this happens outside of that. Awful lot of guys for one truck.
Okay. I'm assuming you have an idea of you said you have the schedule down of when these deliveries are being made.
Well, that's the problem. There's the normal schedule of the pickups, daily cash drops. These happen a little more randomly. Now, we followed one of the trucks. They take this stuff to the tall building. They drop it off in one of the back delivery bays. Unfortunately, we're not able to press on much more than that. But we can listen. Awful lot of banging and clanging. That's how we kind of put the 2 pieces together.
Okay.
My guess
So from
is
the bank.
they're very aware of what hurts these things, and they're making their own preparations for it.
So these trucks are coming from the bank, then going to the big eyesore.
You got it.
but where the trucks are coming from to get to the bank is still unknown.
Haven't followed that particular thread yet.
Okay. No, the intel you've given is good, though. And that's very helpful.
Well, you're building us a room after all.
Going to, has Artie given him a new phone yet?
Yeah.
Okay. He's going to pull it out real quick and shoot a text to Aspen, just quick updates on the things that he's picked up on. Skeeter, this is very helpful. I was not expecting so much in such a short amount of time.
We don't waste time. You gave us a job, offered us hospitality. Despite what we smell, look, and sound like, we have manners.
Well, thank you for living up to your end. I will be sure to get this taken care of for you. Hopefully less than a week. At least get skeleton aspect of it up and then move in all the accommodations.
Great. We'll keep our eyes peeled, and if there's anything you specifically need us to keep an eye out for, we'll do so.
Yeah. The head leech guy, if possible, you can find out where he goes after he leaves that big nasty tower. Just kind of give me a schedule that he follows. I'll throw something extra nice in the rooms for you if you're able to make that happen.
That sounds good. Okay. Yeah, we'll look for the boss and see what comes up.
Perfect. You guys drink?
Yeah.
Drinks around the house. Take care of you and your entire crew for a job well done.
He fishes out his phone. You sure? I mean, I wouldn't, to be completely honest. Then she'll just be.
I was talking about the ones that are here right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Your people that you brought. We'll take care of the rest later.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair. So the two of you return to the main bar area. Skeeter vaults the bar again, going over to the others, Ollie, Dodger, and Maylin. And he starts kind of muttering beneath his breath, whispering to them. And they all, almost in unison, look over in your direction with very excited eyes before hopping off their seats and coming up to the bar to line up for drinks. What's going through your mind after this conversation with Skeeter?
A lot. This information is something that he's wanted for a while, and now this going to be able to move forward and actually possibly expedite the movement and get Iron to the pack. With the additional part of tracking down Bateman, both Aspen and Jester have made it very clear that they dislike this man very much. And this is a way that he would be able to pay them back for the kindness that they've shown.
So with incentive, motivation, and information, this is where we go to our break. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the second half of tonight's story.
St. Petersburg by Night is brought to you through collaborations with our partnered vendors: Chromatic Creations, Panshi Artista, Ember Fox Dice, Devlin the Bard, Champs Tramps, and Howlin' Hop Tea. Links to our partnered vendors, as well as our Twitch and YouTube channels, can be found on our website, stpetbynight.com. You can follow St. Pete by Night on all socials with the hashtag St. Pete by Night. If you wish to support our program, you can do so at coffee.com/St. Pete by Night. to help keep the stories rolling.
Welcome back. In the second half, we find ourselves with Regina parked outside of Tampa Ministries. Now, you had been given intelligence that holy water had been found at one of the destroyed hives, one that nobody has taken claim to the destruction of yet. Not Charles, not the Hellhounds. Nobody is responsible. It's even far enough away from the changeling location that you know it couldn't have been them. You were also told about some very suspicious features about the site, that the ground wasn't corrupted as it had been at the other sites. So with all of this information in mind, you go to visit Alice. Alice, who had previously been a source of holy water for you as you were preparing to fight Bloody Mary. Alice's holy water, which you still have in your possession, having not used it so far. The Tampa Ministries is a multi-denominational organization meant to bring faith and light and hope to the community. It has been a gathering place for the unhoused. It's been a source of a job to those who have been struggling ever since the economy shifted. It provides a great deal of services, from faith counseling to placement programs to even, at times, rehab. But as you arrive, something has changed. Outside, you see signs that say the Tampa Ministries is closed until further notice. And based off of the plywood covering one of the doors, the glass having been shattered and broken, it's easy to see why. The building is dark, and it doesn't appear that there's anyone present. However, I'd like you to both roll, or all roll, a wits and awareness for me.
What's our rage at?
I would say you are probably, after seeing this, a rage 2, especially those who have been to the ministries. Jace, you can probably stay a rage. Well, no, I'll say you're a rage 2 too, knowing that this is a resource to the underprivileged. Aspen 1 success. Jace 4, Jester 2. Okay, so Jester and Aspen, you are both just wrapped up in the case that the building has been damaged. And upon further examination, you can even see that in some of the surrounding area, there's still police tape sectioning off some of the grounds. Jace, with a little bit more insight, a little bit more awareness, you notice just out of the corner of your eye that there is a figure on the roof. And that inside, in the bowels of the building, there's movement.
Nonchalant, he'll kind of look around and then burn a will and then use mind speak to them to let them know. So I'll burn that and then resolve and wisdom.
It's a very low difficulty.
Yeah, I was like, they're right next to me.
Yeah, it's a very low difficulty. So unless you get 0 successes, it'll probably work.
3.
Okay. So almost immediately, Jace's voice enters your mind loud and clear. Go ahead.
Hey, don't be alarmed, to act normal. There's someone on the roof and there's movement inside. Now I can't really get a clear description of them, but I think we're being watched. And they're definitely aware that we're here.
I'm going to move towards the door. I'm looking for any like signs or anything, like any paper signs or anything like saying like if they've moved or anything like that.
Sure. All you see is just that they are closed until further notice.
Wonder what happens.
I'm going to look to the other two. Maybe we just go ask.
Do you want to know what's going on inside?
I think, based off of what I know about Alice the last time we were here, if we do anything that comes off as uncouth, we might be met on aggressive terms. So maybe it's the best scenario to just let ourselves be known in this situation.
So knocking.
I think that's the best way to go.
I'll turn around and knock.
As you knock at the door, it takes a few minutes before you see movement. And the movement is a younger man, possibly in his late teens, early 20s, dressed in black attire, a black t-shirt, black pants, and boots, who approaches the door. He looks warily at the three of you before talking from the other side of the door. Did you not see the signs? We're closed.
Go ahead.
We're here to see Alice.
With the mention of Alice's name, you can see his posture change. She expecting you?
No, but I think she'd like to hear what we have to say.
Just a sec. That he turns and moves further into the building. Jace, with your high awareness score, you hear movement up on the roof as if the individual is repositioning themselves. After a few minutes... go ahead.
Oh, I was with Mind Speak, just letting him know, like, the person on the roof, they're moving. They might be trying to get a better position.
After a few minutes, 3 similarly dressed individuals, same black shirts, black pants, black shoes, approach the door. The one who met with you is unarmed. The 2 next to him are. You have any weapons on you?
No.
All right. Don't do anything funny. He unlocks the door and opens it. If you don't mind, these 2 gentlemen are going to search you. I'm sure you understand. The 2 men walk up, giving you each a brief pat down before giving acknowledgement to the first man that you're all clean. Follow me, he says as he turns and starts walking into the building. The 2 men remain behind, trailing behind the 3 of you as you proceed into the building. What you find inside is a complete change to what you were used to the first time. There are papers scattered everywhere. It looks like the entire building has been tossed in some way or another. You can see that doors have been kicked in, files have been gone through. The whole reception area is a complete mess of just dismantled paperwork and filing cabinets. You can even see that where there were computers before, they're gone. You see.
What happened?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just, as we're walking to them, what happened here?
I'll let her tell you. You end up walking through, and one of the things you take note of, one of the doors that is kicked down, belonged to Reverend Thomas, the man who you had met with. The entire office or sitting room has been completely dismantled. Chairs flipped. Everything of any kind of informational use has been removed. You continue through the building until you are led to the prayer room with the scrolls. You can see all the scrolls are gone, all the candles are gone. The man walks up and puts his hand in one of the slots, and then you hear a click, and the entire scroll cabinet, prayer cabinet, starts to move as he pulls it out like a door. In the next room, you find about a total of 8 people, all of them dressed similarly. You see black duffel bags. You see boxes of ammunition. You see essentially a small armory inside. And at the far end of the room, you see Alice. She has her usual attire, scarf around her neck, fingerless gloves, but you see that she has a hooded cowl with the hood thrown back. She looks up. I didn't call Paw Patrol. Back for more water. We're out.
I think exchange and information might do.
She looks towards the others, all of them with their kind of twitchy posture. Some of them look like they're reaching for guns. She shakes her head, and then kind of with a tick of her head, the others file out of the room, leaving just the 2 who walked, or the 3 who walked with you. She moves over to a folding chair and sits down, gesturing to a couch that had been dragged in. Have a seat.
I'll sit down.
You mind if I stand?
I don't mind, but you're going to get uncomfortable really quick.
Take my chances.
All right. Your choice. What do you want to know?
Well, we recently came across a situation where a piece of land was, what should we say, investigated, infiltrated. There were things there that don't belong, and they were taken care of, but not by us.
And?
Is it fair to assume that that was you, and look at the other 3 in the room?
I think it was the work of some concerned citizens who have noticed things aren't what they should be.
Look around. What happened to the church?
Well, I think even your kind know that things aren't as they were just a few years ago. even earlier this year. Well, we weren't immune to it. Immigration agents raided the church. They took some of the volunteers. They even took Reverend Thomas, even though he's a legal resident, having immigrated from Ghana a decade ago. He tried to stop them from taking some of the volunteers, so they took him too. We've been trying to find him ever since, following leads of missing people. And yes, that was us. But not because that's what we were looking for. It just happened to be there.
Have you had any leads?
No. Our best guess is Alligator Alley, but that's not exactly a place that's easy to get to.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. If you want to know more about what's happening, I don't know how much I can tell you or help you. We have our own crusade. A lot of good people were taken for no reason. We don't know where they are. We can't get a hold of them. That's where my priorities are.
Aspen will look down at her feet, kind of shaking her knee. Look over at Jester, look back to Alice. What if we could help?
Why?
Do you need help?
I think we're getting on just fine. What did you have in mind?
We have people that have better means of finding others, scouring, seeing what we can get a hold of, and if we can figure out where they are, we can help get them back.
What's in it for you?
Help with our problem.
Tell me more about your problem.
Well, you saw it firsthand. It's all over. And it ties back all the way to Piney Point. And it seems you have means to take care of that problem a bit easier. Unfortunately, what we were originally looking for, it seems you're out. But maybe there's other ways you could help. But in all honesty, if you needed help, all you have to do is ask. No exchange needed.
She contemplates that for a moment. I will admit you're not what I expected. And you're right. Times are desperate. When I had nothing, Reverend Thomas gave me a home. I wouldn't have met these people if it wasn't for him. And I lost friends. Good people. Just because of where they came from. seems not all monsters. Anyway.
That's just it, though. You asked me that a long time ago. If I thought I was a monster.
And now?
I've thought about it for a long time. No. Because I might turn into a giant. Look to the others. Claws and fangs, but there are, look around, the government, politicians, billionaires that hurt way more people than I ever could. It's not what you are that makes you a monster, it's what you choose to do.
What happens when or if you decide to do something different? What if you lose control of that thing inside of you and it starts making decisions?
Isn't that what you're here for?
I didn't know what I was here for. Not for a very long time. But I do now. I'll help you. Because you haven't caused any problems. Because you've been honest with me. That goes a long way. Others like you try to hide what they are. Help me find Reverend Thomas and as many of the others as you can. And I will help you. But until they're safe, or at least until we know where they are, I can't be distracted by anything else. Because the longer time passes, the less likely we are to find them. And you should know there's something else going on with all of that. I felt it when they came in. There's evil, and more than just meets the eye, involved. Which is why we are preparing the way we are.
What kind of evil?
The kind that would prey on those who wouldn't be missed.
You have any leads?
Unfortunately, very few. We've been following missing persons reports to try and see if we can get any information, and unfortunately, your little problem is making that a lot more complicated. But we know they were taken in an unmarked van. I don't have reason to believe they'd keep them in the city, but I can't be sure. Unfortunately, we weren't as well equipped and prepared as we are now when they were taken. Or else we would have stopped them.
Y'all have cameras?
Yeah. They took the computers.
Look to Aspen. You think he could help if he had at least the camera?
To be honest, I don't pretend to know how he does what he does, but I'm sure anything would help.
You okay if we take the camera? Looking back at her.
Which one?
All of them.
That would take a lot more time than you think, but I can at least give you the ones that are important.
They'll be helpful.
At least the ones from outside and the ones from his office.
He didn't keep cameras in his office. Think about privilege and privacy. But there were some in the main room that showed the entrance to the office at the very least. I know what you're dealing with is bad, and I don't mean to diminish it.
Bad things are happening all over the place.
Yeah.
I think we get it.
You could tell based off of her heavy sigh and kind of slump that she has been working tirelessly for some time. So what else do you need?
Means to fight.
What you're fighting. I can try and give you the means. But it mostly stuns or slows them down. What I needed to do took a lot of effort and energy to truly destroy and cleanse it. It's not something I can teach, not something I can give away. But I can give you some useful tools, at least, that will help.
Anything helps. I don't know if it'd be too much to ask, but if we can find where your people are, could we get that special ability you have in the fight?
You want me to help you. You want to fight side by side, like some kind of super team.
Not forever, but I think we both want this to stop.
And I want you to answer a question for me, honestly.
Of course.
There's a kid in the hospital that busted up really bad. they say, with some kind of gas main caused an explosion in the bar room. I'm not stupid. Was that you?
Was a new one of us. Someone who doesn't have the knowledge to control themselves, but is getting that knowledge.
Okay. Thank you for your honesty. Get them back, or at least get me the information to get them back, and we'll see. But because you're fighting something that threatens all of us, I will at least give you the tools to fight. Gonna need a little bit of time to prepare it all. Don't want us going short-handed in case we run into more of them. We don't have claws and fangs. Where do you want it sent?
Storage container, and I'll give them the information.
She looks to the guards behind you, and they give a nod as they have taken out small notepads and write down the information. Okay. I'll help if you do this. But I'll make sure that you have some of what you need before then.
We know what it's like to lose our people to a greater threat, something evil. So, as I said, even if you couldn't do anything, we'd still help.
She's a little bit like taken aback by that, kind of weighing it in her mind. Okay. Don't tell anybody about what we're doing here. They've already been through once and they trashed the place. I need to have something for him to return to.
How can I help with the building?
Nothing right now. We're gradually cleaning it up. While we have this understanding, I think it'd be best if you all spent as little time here as possible, at least for the moment.
I understand it's a nonprofit, though. Is there funding needed?
When isn't there funding needed for a nonprofit?
Then I'll get it done.
Actually, at that point, I'll slowly looking at the three, like, take out a very large envelope full of cash. I actually intended to donate this. Here.
She reaches over and takes the envelope. Thank you.
This place gave hope to a lot of people who didn't have it. A lot of people who were overlooked.
Not being
Things
so
like this need to
overlooked
keep
now.
going. Places like these need to keep going.
Get the Reverend back and it will. There's nothing else.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll have that stuff sent over to you. Let me know when you find out anything. As you stand to leave, the guards take you back to the front door. And Jace, you notice by the door, spray painted on the wall, is the words Neighborhood Watch. You're led out to the front door. The doors are unlocked. You leave. You notice up on the roof, the individual still moves following your movements. But as you get to the car, they seem to go back to their original position. You have a few moments, all of you, before we call an end to tonight's story.
We had to.
I agree. What they went through wasn't right, and we can help right some of those wrongs. If need be, I can.
Go ahead.
As I say, if need be, I can try and move some things around and help Artie track this down, make it a higher priority.
She said evil. A few
Yeah.
things come to mind.
I agree. And as much as we want this information, and I look to Jace and I glance towards Jester for a long moment, taking in a deep breath, kind of closing her eyes. Jace, I think your friends are going to be useful for something else, not for what we need right now.
All right. Put them to the task.
We're on hold with that anyways. We have all the time. This is pertinent.
That, and, as much as it's going to be useful what she's providing, from what she said, iron's still our best bet.
We at least have a location of where the iron's being moved to.
We can figure all of that out later, as I said. But we have information. That's great. But I think this is what we need the help with right now.
I'll talk to the man in charge. I'll get him on it.
As all of you get into the car and begin the long drive back to the cairn, the weight of it weighs on you. Even the innocent won't be spared this war. In fact, they're the most likely targets to be hit first. With that, our story comes to a close, but not without two final scenes. Our first scene takes us to the back of a black, unmarked van. In the van are several individuals handcuffed with hoods over their heads. The van comes to a stop, and one of the doors on the side opens up. See men in ski masks with rifles look to one another, and one says, "How many this time?" An unseen individual says, "3." They nod. They reach into the back, pulling 3 of the individuals out and leading them away as one of the men stands behind, rifling through an envelope of cash. We transition to our next scene, Gatorland. It's dark. Past the times of evening tours. We find ourselves in the pen with the suspiciously aware gators. They're all huddled around, watching as one of the night security guards passes by. They shy away from the security guard, backing up into the water. And the security guard's flashlight combs over the surroundings until it stops on one of the pens. As they approach, their light shining on one of the gators, fangs grow out of their mouth. This is where our story comes to a close. Thank you so much to these amazing players. Thank you to everybody watching at home. Go follow St. Pete by Night on all of that social media you see listed down below. And we only have 2 days left now, as it is after midnight, to enter into our Halloween contest. So make sure to go do that. Get as many entries in as possible and win that Werewolf starter pack. We've got Hellhounds this Friday over on YouTube, and we've got another episode of Rage Across Tampa that can be seen next Tuesday here on Twitch, the same bat time, same bat channel. For these amazing players, I'm Kent. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
This has been a St. Petersburg by Night production. Reach Across Tampa is produced in agreement with World of Darkness and Dark Pact. The storyteller for Rage Across Tampa is Kent. Tonight's characters were voiced by Preston, Cham, Noree, and Walks. Visit our website at stpbynight.com for more information about all of our productions and how you can become part of our community. Thank you for listening. Until next time, fangs, stakes, and claws out.